So first obeisances, please, to whoever is here
Guru
now.
Maharaj says that the higher devotees have to wear a mask to come down to this plane.
Hare Krishna.
And in Greek theater was called persona, was a mask. So they had like happy mask, sad mask. That's where persona comes from. So the higher devotees have to adopt a persona to descend into this plane. So we should never think they're just like us. They're wearing a mask of seeming mundane persona, a person in this world, but not. Yes, Maharaj.
Maharaj, I am just with whatever persona I am, which I'm sorry to say is all a persona.
You're visible. I see you and Paramananda Prabhu, Dandavat. Without my glasses, can't. There's others.
Yes, Maharaj. The Tomsk temple is all with us, Maharaj.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Dandavat, all the assembled Vaishnavas.
Time zone as you too, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
And Sajanananda Prabhu, Trilokanath Prabhu, Dhananjay Prabhu, Chaitanya Maididi.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
The Chiang Mai kitchen. And actually,
yes.
I think we also have probably will have here our kitchen from Bila Govinda, because they're all very busy in there for tomorrow.
Oh, yes, yes.
And Maharaj, your disciple...
Remember, Gurudev said after he would leave the world that he would come and see what we're cooking, what we're offering. So everyone assembled in the kitchen should be very mindful of that.
All right, they're listening to you. I can see they turn.
I can tell that potatoes are being smashed all over the world in his honor. Like what we call mashed potatoes, Gurudev called smashed potatoes. Like what we call a nap, Prabhupada called a snap. He'd always say, I'm going to take a snap. So mashed potatoes, smashed potatoes is more, I think, dynamic concept. And we know when they'd ask Gurudev, everywhere you go, they go, what do you like? Like in terms of person, what do you like? And repeatedly I would hear, he would go, I like everything. But then there were some things he liked more than others, you could say. And as long as his servitors, who was always at least one expert cook, sometimes more than one, as long as they made the Bengali comfort food with the smashed potato, Karela, his parboiled rice, and some other things, then whatever the local devotees made, he could happily honor that.
Krishna, Krishna.
Remember, you had that Go guy at Jagannath Express, dressed like a Japanese, with the white face, and he'd like go to the table.
Oh yeah, Bhutto.
The bottom picture, right? You remember, but he'd like look at people at a table. That's what he's supposed to do, kind of like.
It's a Japanese type of theater, Bhutto.
Yeah. Paramananda must know.
Yeah. It's a whole mystical idea through meditation.
The white-faced Japanese actor who looks very serious at people. That's another persona. So Madhusudan Maharaja.
Here at your service, Maharaj.
So MC.
If it is your wish, the MC will be, then I'm here, Maharaj.
Yes.
So first of all, obeisances to all the devotees and to each other. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Nalpatrivyacha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
And today is the Adivas Day, and we're with our VIP, headed by our VIP sannyasis, Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadut Maharaj in the Chiang Mai evening program. And we are joining the Tomsk temple is in the same time zone. So they are very much in the evening program. And a lot of us, we are feeling a little bit in the evening mood, being the day before. So this day, the Adivas Day, actually, normally it will be the day when Gurudev would come down, or certainly on Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja Adivas Day, Gurudev would come down. Actually, on this day, normally Gurudev would be so busy in his room meeting the devotees that he will send the devotees downstairs to have the evening program, and he would ask somebody, for instance, Goswami Maharaj or someone, to give a talk in the evening, and this way inaugurating the festival which will take place. But on Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, then Gurudev would almost always come downstairs on the evening before, and they'd have the extra kirtans in the temple room, and then Gurudev would speak, not necessarily a long time, but by way of welcoming the devotees. Those, some can get to see him personally, but when hundreds of Bengalis also come, then it's not practical for everybody to come to his room. So he would come downstairs, he would come to the temple room, and he would welcome all the devotees who are coming from all over for the festival. So it's a preparation day. And Srila Gurudev, he's given us the guidance that the Adivas Day is a day where we should do something, where we are coming together. And can I please ask if somebody in Chiang Mai can monitor the thing? Necessary to have a full-time monitor there somewhere. Excuse me for mentioning that. Because some bad messages are coming up. So this day, we see, for instance, at the time of the Jagannath Rath Yatra, that on the day before Lord Jagannath comes out for his journey to come from the main temple to Gundicha, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he leads the devotees in cleansing the temple and teaching how we have to cleanse the temple, cleanse our heart, make some preparation to invite the Lord to come. So in a similar way, the day before these big festivals, we can give attention to cleansing our heart and cleansing the temple, decorating the temples, preparing for the festival day. And really, above all, it's the welcoming of all the devotees who've gathered together, and an opportunity to chant some bhajan and to make ourselves clean-hearted in preparation for a day of glorification, which will be flowing across the planet Earth, across the globe tomorrow. All right. So, Govinda, 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 what can we do? What can we do?
Chat off completely.
Yeah, I think everybody at home, just turn your chats off. It seems to be some obstruction coming in.
Pralambasura.
Yes,
You know,
Maharaj, on this,
he was
as we see,
disguised as a cowherd boy, and he entered into the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram and to create some mischief. Of course, it was all arranged by Yogamaya, and Krishna and Balaram, they knew really who he was. So he was dealt with. So my advice is the Pralambasura filter, just turn the chat off. It's not necessary. Oh, can the individuals turn it off? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We just give some advice to everyone at home. Just turn the chat off. Hare Krishna. All right. So Maharaj, I was going to say, as we see in the kitchen just a short while before, still there in Chiang Mai, then the devotees are indeed preparing in more ways than one for tomorrow and the glorification. And we see also another kitchen view on the screen, the kitchen in Kiev, on Audarya Leela's
why aren't we seeing?
So we see they're busy in Kiev, and here in Vila Govinda, also the devotees are very busy. I don't know if now you see.
Let's see the
Kiev, then show what he's talking about.
Audarya Leela's in Kiev.
Yeah. Yes, I can see it. It's right next to Madhusudan Maharaj. Well,
Hare Krishna. And in London, they are very busy in both kitchens in London. In Vila Govinda, they're very busy. Everywhere, they're preparing for tomorrow. And as you mentioned, Maharaj, preparing smashed potatoes with plenty of mustard oil, no doubt, and plenty of chili, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, Maharaj, I can suggest, Maharaj, I can pass the microphone to yourself and to Srila Avadut Maharaj. You may say a few words for us in preparation for tomorrow. And for many of the devotees, Maharaj, they don't get the opportunity to come together for bhajan. So I can suggest that also we can include this evening a little while for some bhajan in the temple there of a kirtan of your choice, that we can all join in with our microphones off, but it's proven to be very joyful for us all, literally worldwide Sankirtan.
Yes, Maharaj. You want to say something, Maharaj? A few words? I already been speaking and can sing.
So what should we do? Speak or sing or what?
Say something and then we'll sing.
Okay. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripasindu devacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Dear God brothers, dear junior group, senior group, Guru Varga group. Guru Varga means Janardhan Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj, Ashram Maharaj, Madhusudan Maharaj. Those who's been assistant of Srila Govinda Maharaj in his divine pastimes, and also assist Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. And God brothers and God sisters means those who came, joined to serve, such as Srimati Bhakti Lalita, other great souls who's watching it right now. It's a very special day today because we're preparing to celebrate Srila Gurudev Vyasa Puja. But today is a very auspicious day to remember the devotees of Srila Gurudev who gave their life for the service, such as Yudamanyu Prabhu, Bimala Didi, many, many others who has been Srila Govinda Maharaj eternal entourage and try to fulfill his vision, his wishes to, celebrate Krishna consciousness all over the world. We know how great work devotees done in Venezuela, in SoCal, California, in Ukraine, Russia, and many other countries where Srila Govinda Maharaj, with his divine presence, established mission of Srila Guru Maharaj. And of course, London and other centers. You know, some centers are smaller, some centers are bigger, some centers represent by a big group of devotees, some centers just maybe one family, but still faithful, loyal, and dedicated servitors of Srila Gurudev. Today we are overseeing that we actually not only have divine family, also our divine family is growing and expanding. In China, like, you know, very pleased to see almost every day Goswami Maharaj speaking to Chinese devotees who's highly inspired. They may never met Srila Gurudev in person, but their feelings towards coming in devotional family are very great. Like Ukraine, Russia, where in spite of all the difficulties, devotees trying to get together and open doors for public at that time, although certain temples like Petersburg were closing because we have a lot of elder people. But other temples all open today because already everybody had coronavirus, such as Kiev kitchen is cooking full-fledged, and Tomsk, Siberia, and Paramananda Prabhu, who is in Japan right now, but actually he is a Gurudev representative in Thailand, who's trying to expand Gurudev's and serve Gurudev's mission here with all of us. So we have a very auspicious day today, and just remembering the devotees of Gurudev are very, very important, because through his devotees, through his servitors, we can connect with his special mood, his special mercy, his special pastimes. If you ask any devotee of Srila Govinda Maharaj, he will tell you like amazing stories. So I will not take long time. Just want to mention that. My Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees and the younger group, the elder group, the senior spiritual group, the younger spiritual group, and all our outreach. So my Dandavat Pranam. Happy to hear all of you, and wish you an incredible New Year, and hope this, normally New Year, whatever you are doing the next day is supposed to indicate your year activity. So in this way, remember it's Saturn and Jupiter, two planets coming together, which means dharma and obstacle. Obstacle, Jupiter means you should not spend money, waste money. Jupiter always control the funds. But Saturn always, Saturn is always like karma pay. Whatever you do, Saturn will give you back. But Saturn is an incredible planet for spiritual practice. So this is a very unique time right now where we should not waste our time and money and energy for something mundane. And at the same time, whatever we do dharmically, spiritually, will be greatly increased. So that is very specific time. And we begin New Year from celebration of a great saint, Guru Puja. So the next year must be obviously auspicious for all of us.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Also, because it's the tradition of Guru Maharaj Gurudev, the Guru Maharaj have Gurudev sing the song sort of at the beginning of any auspicious Chaitanya Saraswati celebration, Emana Durmati. And so I like to sing that. But what you said about the Bengalis not all being able to be accommodated on Gurudev's veranda, so sometimes they would parade them up for, like a very quick dandavat. And remember, they opened the door, and this Bengali ma, around yay high, as soon as they opened the door, she went, woo! Like really loudly, like spot on. I can't even properly, my impersonation is an operade, but it was so, like, it got everybody perked up, and Gurudev went, Baba! And she was very happy, gave her dandavats and left. That was it. But that was how she expressed her appreciation. Gurudev accepted that and, you know, gave her something. Her heart was touched. She was happy. That was it. So we were talking recently on the subject of Sparsha money, the Vaishnavas being touchstone. And Srila Gurudev comes to mind that by interacting with him, people would become transformed. But this song, as everyone knows, E Manadur Mati, you passed the books out. And we have Mridanga player on the little Mridanga. Kartals, have kartals. Actually, I'll read first so that we can understand what we're singing while we're singing it. So, you know, look at this. Because if you remember, Guru Maharaj, what said to Gurudev in the beginning when he goes to the mat? He said, and he's asking him, are you prepared to stay, or how long will you stay? And Gurudev was offended, you know, mildly insulted. You know, when I say I'm coming, it's for good. And he said, I could understand later. Guru Maharaj was like testing him. Of course he wanted him to stay for, but he's just saying, so how long you'll be staying? He goes, forever. When I say, it's forever. Oh, good. And are you prepared to follow me and not your mind? Pause. And Gurudev said in London, I was young, so I said, yes. He said, I didn't know how difficult that might be over the course of time. But Guru said, you're prepared to follow me and not your mind? Yes. And this song begins with that concept because it's saying, the wicked mind brought me into this world, O Lord. But one of your pure and elevated devotees has come to bring me out. That's why it's the starting song. Right? Rupa Goswami is saying, Ado Guru Parasraya. The first principle of devotional life is to take shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. That's it. And that it shall remain that throughout. When one sannyasi was sent to the West for preaching, came back, in Guru Maharaj's words, half converted. In other words, he was damaged by going, overwhelmed by bad association and association with misconception. And he had the audacity to say to Srila Saraswati Thakur, what you're giving is not sufficient for them. And Guru Maharaj said, Sanyal went over and started strangling him, Professor Sanyal. So he's not only an intellectual, but a good, he's like, and then because Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj said, was dumbstruck. He couldn't speak. His man that he sent as the advance party comes back like this and has the audacity to say this. And the stunned, then Sanyal, he's like strangling him. And then Sanyal said, you have forgotten the first principle of spiritual life. Taking, Guru Padasraya, taking shelter, lotus feet of Sri Guru. And then perhaps picking up on what Sanyal said, Saraswati Thakur said, yes. He said, and remember, Saraswati Thakur is arguably the greatest scholar of the last hundreds of years. And who's his Guru Maharaj? Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And Saraswati Thakur said, my Guru Maharaj couldn't write his name. He said, but I found all spiritual knowledge in a particle of the toenail of his holy lotus feet. And we could just say, as a sidebar, as a footnote, He's not even speaking hyperbolically, but really that is the wealth of the lotus feet of Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So this is not something that is merely for beginners. As Guru Maharaj himself said when he first came and thought like, oh, all right, so now they're saying you have to take shelter of a guru. And he said, I was thinking inside, yes, but someday my heart's inner hankering for direct connection with Krishna will be satisfied. But they're telling me this now, and that makes sense, and I'm following that. He said, but in time, I came to understand the Vaishnava is everything. And particularly, when we trace this higher, 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 from Guru being a surrogate, ultimately of Srimati Radharani, so going higher, higher in the hierarchy, we see all devotion to Krishna is being transmitted, transacted through her, and the reciprocation is coming through her. She's extracting from Krishna and nourishing everyone. So it's also the most successful strategy is through the devotee, you get more Krishna than going directly. So it's all very beautifully, thematically consistent. He's saying, it's my mind that brought me to this world, but one of your pure and elevated devotees has come to bring me out. He saw me so fallen and wretched, took pity, and came to me saying, oh, humbled soul, please listen to this good tiding, for it will gladden your heart. Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared in the land of Navadvip to deliver you. He has safely conducted many miserable souls such as you across the sea of worldly existence. To fulfill the promise of the Vedas, the son of a Brahmin bearing the name Mahaprabhu of golden complexion has descended with his brother, the Avadut Nityananda. Together, they have overwhelmed all of Nadia with divine ecstasy. So Guru Maharaj said also there's one poetry says that, what is that? Vishnu, let's see, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, they've gone insane and spread this insanity or this madness in Navadvip. And by that, what do you mean? Narayan, meaning Mahaprabhu in this case, and Shiva, Sadashiva, Advaita Acharya, and Brahma, Haridas Thakur. So the three of them have gone puggle. And they're spreading that madness in Navadvip Dham. They have overwhelmed all of Nadia with divine ecstasy. Nanda Sutta Jini, Chaitanya Goshai, Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, is Krishna himself, the son of Nanda Maharaj, has saved the world by freely distributing his own holy name, Nijanam. Go also and receive your deliverance, Paritran, Nija Paritran. Then say kata shuni, oh Lord, please, hearing these words, Bhakti Vinod has come weeping to the soles of your lotus feet and tells the story of his life. Such a beautiful song. So we can now sing that. Did I read everything? Yeah, I think. All right. Okay. E mona durmati sangsara bitore poriya achinu ami. E Bhavani jajan kono mahajane pataiya dile tu. Doya kori more patita dekiya kohilo amare giya. Amare Karite Sri Krishna Chaitanya Navadipe Avatar. Komahino Koto Dinahino Jane Korilena Bhava Par. Vedera Pratigya Roki Bharature Rukmabana Viprasuta. Mahaprabhu Name Nadiya Matai Songe Bai Avaduta. Mahaprabhu Name Nadiya Matai Songe Bai Avaduta. Nanda Sutta Jini Chaitanya Gosai Nija Nama Koridan. Tarilo Jagat Tumi O Jaiya Loho Nija Paritran. Sekota Suniya Achi Achi Nata Tomara Charana Tore. Bhakti Vinora Kandiya Kandiya Apana Kahini Bole. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Go Premanande Hari Hari. Madhusudan Maharaja.
Yes, Maharaj. We are singing along happily, and so were many others. Not only in your temple room, but in the kitchen, I also saw them singing, Maharaj.
They should be singing all over the world.
They are singing all over the world, indeed, Maharaj.
That's kind of amazing if you think about it.
Indeed.
That we're having a kirtan and people all over the world are singing at the same time.
And even we have your remote corner of the world, Maharaj, California. Kum Devi Masi is with us.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat. Yes.
So from
what
Australia.
Maharaj is, I want to say that what he's referring to is one time when I'm saying goodbye to Srila Guru Maharaj, the day I will have to leave the mat, go to Calcutta, and so always we go to the room of Srila Guru Maharaj, and he very mercifully get up and then hug me, like embrace. It was wonderful to feel that, and he would have Gurudev take the garland from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and give that garland, and then say a few words. And that one time he said, so now our Goswami Maharaj is going to a remote corner of the world. And I was thinking, like, I'm going to San Francisco, to California. And he saw the look on my face, and he said very beautifully, Guru Maharaj would turn his head and hold his arm. He said, Navadvip is your home. He's saying, and this is the place of Mahaprabhu, and this is your home. And for some time, you're going to a remote corner of the world to preach Mahaprabhu's creed. I went like, oh, that's wonderful to think along those lines. What we sometimes call the Prabhudatta Desh, the place given by your Lord, your Master, your Gurudev as your preaching field. When Swami Maharaj was in America and very ill and thought he may leave the world, so he's thinking, I tried to do what I could here, now I'll go back to Vrindavan and leave the world. And wrote a letter to Guru Maharaj, what is your advice? And Guru Maharaj said, the Prabhudatta Desh, I think that Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur has given you this place for your preaching. So you will stay there, taking his order on your head. And Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada wrote back, he said, I take your, what you've said, your words, I take as his order on my head. That he's saying that to Guru Maharaj. What you say, I take as equal to Saraswati Thakur speaking to me. I take that on my head and I will stay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Maharaj.
Maharaj, a very strong feeling in me also at this moment is how when Gurudev would be sitting in his veranda, or probably this evening when he would be in the Nat Mandir himself, he would say that actually I'm just a village boy, but I've got everything from Guru Maharaj. And what I've got from Guru Maharaj is a whole family, like so many people around the world as my friends. And he said, I feel fortunate to have you all as my friends. And you have come so far with so much difficulty to come and see me. And this is my great fortune. And Maharaj, as you were mentioning that no doubt today, Srila Gurudev and tomorrow, Srila Gurudev will be looking in the kitchens to see, as he said, to see what preparations are being made. But similarly, Maharaj, we can feel that independent of time and place, as we understand, that Gurudev is also seeing everybody that's come together here. And he is no doubt feeling, oh, so many of you, over 100 must be, but that, no, here and there it's over 100 devotees. And we can think, oh, Gurudev, he's feeling, oh, I'm so fortunate. You've come in my honor. You've come in my honor, but I am just a humble servitor of Guru Maharaj. Yeah. And this way, he is seeing Guru Maharaj's glories in the devotees, and he's feeling nourished that so many people around the world, so many devotees around the world, they're coming in his honor. So Maharaj, I can sort of say this, if you like, on behalf of Gurudev, because we feel that he is expressing this, that he can see everything, as we know, he can see everything. And may he bless you all, and he is blessing everybody, Maharaj. We are feeling it very
Yes.
strongly.
Yes, and when we had the opportunity to accompany His Divine Grace in Switzerland, and he was invited, perhaps in Geneva, there was a like Vedanta center kind of place. And there was one Indian there heading it who was a Swami sannyasi in their line, or and so he invited Gurudev to come over one evening with his entourage. And when he was supposed to be introducing Gurudev to speak something, he kept singing his own glories, like saying, you know, I'm the only Swami in Switzerland, you know. And then he's saying, and I have a PhD, and I matriculated, and you know, he's saying, telling his how super qualified he was, and no one really compared to him, and he was unique, singular, extraordinary, you know, extraordinaire, and now I give you Govinda Maharaj, you know, like that, you know. And Gurudev began speaking by saying, as Maharaj he say, I'm just a village boy. I have no education. Like he went to 3rd grade, 5th grade or something, you know. And you hear his pastimes of being truant from school and other things, you know. We won't go into all of them. Is it raining? No. And so he started his talk by saying how unqualified he was. Not properly educated, just a small town boy from a small town, you know, some little village in Bengal you've probably never heard of, and on and on and on about how unqualified he was. And this gentleman is so qualified. But the point that Maharaj made, he said, but my Guru Maharaj, he is very qualified. And I heard from my Guru Maharaj, and then he like quoted one verse. And then the man said, you can see he's perfect Sanskrit and explanation. Then, and I also heard from my Guru Maharaj, like quotes another verse, and they're getting longer and more complicated. And the man he's starting to melt on the spot. And by the time Gurudev was through, without saying anything other than actually just preaching, he revealed this person to be the fool that he was, but not in a mean or nasty way, just by dint of glorifying his Guru Maharaj. He never turned it toward himself, but just repeatedly kept saying, but my Guru Maharaj, he's very qualified and he's very educated. And these are the things that I learned sitting at his lotus feet and serving his lotus feet. So really, in that way, very sweetly, he annihilated that man. You know, but allowing him to simultaneously save face, because you had to know what was going on to really get it. And then there was prasadam. Madhusudan Maharaj.
And Srila Gurudev himself is affectionately and sweetly welcoming you all. And tomorrow we shall all be giving a feast to Gurudev. And that prasadam, just as in Switzerland, prasadam conquers everybody. But also tomorrow there'll be a grand feast all over the world for his divine grace. Maharaj, this is our adivas, this is our introduction, simple and sweet. And tomorrow, I think the devotees who are gathered here, then we do know that tomorrow in Chiang Mai time, 11 o'clock in the morning, is a grand festival headed by Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Bimalavadut Maharaj in Chiang Mai. And The evening time again, 7:30 in Thailand, the same time that we joined today, then we'll have an opportunity for devotees and especially Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj's disciples to say something.
Yeah.
No doubt
Yeah.
Maharaj will give an introduction and then an opportunity. It's Gurudev's Disciples Day very much too, that they will come and say something from their own experience and glorification of Srila Gurudev. So this is coming up tomorrow, which, yes, we almost forget it's the 1st of January,
Yeah.
Happy New Year and all these things. But for us, Gurudev's Vyasa Puja sort of eclipses the 1st of January. But we can also say, what a wonderful way to start 2021.
Okay, and the year of Govinda, like you have different calendars. And one thing I just want to say before handing it back to Maharaj for closing is that when once Prabhupada's, I think, disappearance day came at the so-called land of nectar, and the devotees were very eager disciples of Srila Prabhupada Swami Maharaj to have Srila Govinda Maharaj come and be the guest of honor and speak and so, preside over the meeting. And Guru Maharaj happily sanctioned his doing that. But the onus on the cooks to really, cook extra special because Srila Govinda Maharaj is coming. So they assembled at the time the 2 best cooks they had, the Western devotees, and they were thinking like, we have to just make exclusively Indian, Bengali style prasad because Govinda Maharaj is coming. They didn't know fully the full spectral range of his palate and personality, but so they're saying like, we got to really do the authentic Bengali style. So they do their level best to do that, and then they have the feast and everything, and then the moment comes and they ask Srila Govinda Maharaj, like, what is his impression of the prasadam? What does he think? And he says, very heartfelt way, in a big smile, he says, the Western prasadam is very nice. So I say this, that we will try in our own way to do these things, but Gurudev is accepting all of it. That says some know how to make something, maybe the way that he liked it, certain things. But when I'm asked, besides a few things I know that we know that for sure he likes, I tell the devotees, what you're good at cooking, cook that. Don't try to make something you never made before or unsure of how, that usually doesn't come out well. But if there's something you're really, all modesty aside from, from others that you make this one thing or 2 or 3 things that people really appreciate, then offer that. Gurudev will appreciate all the offerings. Yes, Maharaj.
And also Gurudev will get Pakka Indian offerings too, because we have Maheshwari will be cooking for him, and also Subhasini will be cooking for him, and the others who have it in their DNA to do that special, only possible by Indians, or almost, spicing.
Yes. And all over Bengal, the Bengali Vaishnavas.
Indeed, Maharaj, indeed. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj, I think that there in Chiang Mai, or here, we are all in Chiang Mai right now. We've come to Gupta Govardhan and we've come into the temple room here. And so, Maharaj, Udila, sorry, not Udila, Hari Haraya.
See, Madhusudan Maharaj is already getting ready for Mangal Arati, and
I am.
That's his next engagement.
And let us join with the program there. Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. Maharaj, you'd like to sing or?
And then perhaps Maharaj can give the key jais at the end also. That will be very
Let's
auspicious also.
Paramananda Prabhu maybe.
Well, no, it has to be someone here.
Oh, okay. Then Bhakti
Hari,
Lalita,
right.
then
I'll
Bhakti
sing.
Lalita should
Hari
say something.
Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Garadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Jai Go Jai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaha Hoite Vignanas Abhishta Puran. Jai Go Jai Jar Mui Taro Das. Kansavara Padarenu Mora Panchagras. Kandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas. Janame More Avilas. Jai Go Jai Jabe Braje Koilovas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash. Oh Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Yaman. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Harinam Sankirtan Koe Narottamadan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I go to Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, go to Hari Bo. I go to Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, go to Hari Bo. Jai Shri Govinda Maharaj Adivas Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Satarasada Sri Srimad Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Shri Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Govinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Shri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Vila Govinda Ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishvabaranya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Brinda Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bhavan Janardhan Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Kusum Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Vijay Trivikram Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadut Maharaj Ki Jai. Seva Brinda Ki Jai. Jai Sri Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Sri Paramananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Sandeep Krishna Prabhu Ki Jai. All the Devashish Prabhu Ki Jai. Kum Didi Ki Jai. All the senior Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Until tomorrow, my Dandavat Pranam to one and all.
У нас еще будет русскоязычная программа позже, так что присоединяйтесь. Мои поклоны всем. У нас начинается караоке-клуб и падение лица.
The Siberian Tomsk Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai with their inconceivably beautiful deities, Subhara Devi Dasi, Ekadashi, and Jagan Mata, Dandavat, Chiang Mai Kitchen, Dandavat, Udar Jalila Didi Dandavat, Praneshwari Didi Dandavat, Udarandas Dandavat, Rupa Vilas Dandavat, Shuddha Krishna Prabhu Dandavat, Janvi Devi Dasi Dandavat with her parents, Maheshwari Didi and Sandeep Krishna Prabhu. Keep that light shining in Delhi. Hey, Suresh Krishna Prabhu Dandavat, Shakira Didi Dandavat in South Africa, I believe. Suresh Krishna's in Riga. And here, Nityananda Das is here, Kum Didi in San Jose, California, Dandavat. Adi Devidas, Shamala Didi, Dandavat. Devashish Prabhu holding the fort down in London. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, London branch secretary. Hare Krishna. Giridhari Prabhu, Dandavat. Sulakshana here in Chiang Mai, our Chinese medium. Chandrakanti Didi, Dandavat with Sudevi. Hare Krishna. Jai Sudevi. Hare Krishna. Navajovana, Dandavat. Maruchanda in Ukraine, Dandavat. Trilokanath Prabhu, Dandavat. Chaitanya Mai and Dhananjaya Prabhu in Rome, I believe, Dandavat. And Indumukhi, our roving ambassador in China, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Hi, look at her. Sue Devi. Oh, big heart. Dandavat. She's two. All right. Vanchakalpa Trivyascha, Kripa Sindhu Evacha, Patitanam Pavanevyo, Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.